Good morning and welcome to the Delight of Photography. This is our final talk in understanding my camera and capturing better images. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. It's good to see you and good to have you. I would suggest you, bottom right hand corner, click on subscribe. That'll take you back and give you the full list of all the videos that we've posted so far. And it's well worth going back to the beginning just to have a look at that. And if you have been with us for some time, thank you for staying with us. And I hope you're going to enjoy this. And I hope you now will, particularly after this last one, you'll have a better understanding of your camera. And we can have a just chat about manual, for example, this time. And just to make the point that this is manual made easy. I say manual made easy because sometimes when you say to people, would you like to try manual? They say, oh, no, 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 no. If I do manual, I haven't a clue where I am. I don't even know where to start. So I'm not going, no, no, no. But particularly when you're shooting in low light or in difficult light, you'll find that manual is a really, really good setting to have. And what we're going to talk about on this particular talk is not all the different ways of using manual, etc. We're going to take one specific example and show you how you can use manual with your camera to take really good images. And that will give you, I would hope, the confidence to start fiddling more with manual once you've done that. So that's the concept. So we're going to talk about shooting in low and difficult light. And if you need a starting point, adjusting the speed and the aperture to place the mark on the central point of the exposure scale will give you what the camera thinks is the perfect exposure. For example, you can then vary this and play around and think of it as exposure compensation on steroids, basically. So if you have a look at this, you'll see where the arrow is pointing to, you'll see underneath there's M250 3.5, you'll see your plus minus, the exposure compensation symbol, and it's in the middle. Now you can move either, depending how your camera is set up, you can change the aperture or you can change the shutter speed all at the same time, and it'll vary, go towards the plus or towards the minus as you change your exposure. So let's have a look at that. If you've got an SLR or mirrorless and you're looking at your screen, this is what it looks like. Right now you can see there's underneath the exposure little sign, you've got plus and minus, and right now it's in the middle at half a second at f16 is what the camera thinks is perfect. So you can then change either the speed or the aperture, and you can move it towards the right, which means it gets brighter and brighter. And up there you'll see now 1.3 seconds. Or you can move it slightly back as you adjust it. As you adjust it, else you can move it to the left. That'll make it darker and darker and darker. And play with this. Have a look in your camera, play with the different controls and see how it moves. That gives you the opportunity to see how you're going to use this now from a constructive perspective. And each time you take the picture, you can see what the result is. And that gives you the idea as to what you will now do to change it or to adjust it to get the image that you actually want. So normally, if you're in auto, the camera does everything to try and help you. And you don't want it to help because now you want to adjust the settings to suit you. That's why switching to manual is really beneficial in this particular instance, because when you want to take images like this, you're going to have to use manual because your camera won't quite give you this type of effect. Because try this out for yourself and you're going to be surprised at how uncomplicated and simple it is. Because you can take this picture, which is what the camera thinks, and then as you maybe had a look at this before, you can just change aspects to change it. And this is you putting your creative feel into your image. That's what the camera thinks, but you can make it look, just do different things. Camera thinks, but maybe you want to make it slower so you can get a bus going past, or you just want it to be look like that. Or you can take this picture of the early morning beach and then you can just make it look far more interesting just by playing around with manual and fiddling. So let's look at manual made easy. You're down on the beach and you're looking at the sea and you decide, I want to take this picture. So you put up your tripod, then you decide on your point of focus, where you want to be focused for your image and the depth of field that you would like. So once you're happy with that, because creatively that's your decision, you then set the aperture and you lock the camera on your tripod. So aperture set now, focus is set. So then you set the ISO at 100 or the lowest that your camera takes, because that'll give you the opportunity to have the best quality image as well. Then you take an estimate as to what the shutter speed might be and you take a sample image. And your sample image looks like this. So that's actually a little bit on the dark side. So you're now going to adjust your speed. So you look at your LCD and you adjust your speed accordingly. And then you have fun playing, because then you can make it look like that, or you can slow down your shutter a bit more and you get that. That's more or less what you're looking for, but we'll try just a little bit more. And there it is. I mean, that's just magic. And you take your images, and you could not capture that type of image unless you were shooting in manual. ISO 100, 130 and f8 are a good starting point in most cases, and then you fiddle and adjust from there on. But also it's a good idea to get to understand your LCD screen. Many people tell you shouldn't do this, you've got to stick with histograms, but if you're shooting down on the beach, you should go somewhere, take a whole series of different pictures at different exposures, and then put it on your computer, and then go through them looking at your camera, what's on your screen, and what's on the computer. And you'll get an understanding of what it should look like on your camera and what it's going to look like on your screen. So that helps when you're doing this type of manual. Also, you can use histograms. Histograms are really, really good because it will tell you, as you change it, you'll see this graph move to the left or to the right. And you're looking for something that looks more or less like this, which means you've got a pretty good general exposure. If you want to know more about histograms, it's worth Google histogram and you'll find all sorts of information on the internet. But try it out for yourself, because you're going to be amazed at how uncomplicated it really is. And you're going to be very impressed with the type of images that you end up with. It's fascinating. Because if you want to try and take images like this, sunrises, sunsets, difficult light. Shooting manual gives you an amazing opportunity to capture the image that you really want to capture. End of manual. Go and try it yourselves. Play with your camera and you'll find out it's not so difficult. Something's wrong with this picture, and what is wrong with this picture is obviously it's out of focus. It should look like that. So let's just chat about focus for a little bit. Camera focus, you've got all sorts of different, depending on your camera, this is where you should really have a look at your manual. There are all sorts of different modes that you can use. But in essence, you've got single, which means you push the button and it says focus. Continuous, which means it focuses continually, like if you're taking a horse running past. Or there's manual, where you just set it and that's what you take. And then if you have a look, you'll see you can change things like single area or dynamic area. Again, worth reading up in your manual to find out how you want to best set your camera. But remember, you can, by using your control, you can move the focus point around. And that's a big advantage now with digital cameras. You can decide where you would like the point of focus in your image. And if you're using a mobile camera, you can, depending on the model you've got, you can tap on the screen and you'll get that yellow square. And that where you've tapped will be in perfect focus, and the rest will still be in pretty good focus. But if you want careful focus, you can adjust it like that. Very clever. As a rule of thumb, when you're doing landscape photography, you focus 1/3 of the way into your image. And that'll give you a pretty good depth of field all the way. Or you can estimate the distance to the closest key focus point, like there's a big cactus close by. You estimate that distance and then you double it, and that becomes where you try a rule of thumb. Try that out because it's quite interesting and it actually works pretty well. It's not a good idea to balance on your girlfriend's head. Even if she's a steady girlfriend, it's not great, particularly with a lens like that. You mustn't move. And remember the focus point, because the focus point is important, because sometimes we change it without thinking it, because we want that picture of this buck and you're taking it through these twigs and your focus point is in the wrong place, so you get a beautiful picture of the foliage. Or you want to take a picture of the hot air balloon and you get a picture of, this is an interesting picture, but that's not what you wanted. And remember, the focus point does amazing things. So make sure you know where your focus point is. For personal preference, I tend to put mine in the middle most of the time because then I always know where it is. Just in passing, your images don't need to be perfect from a creative point of view. It's your image that you're taking, which you want to make as you would like. I like this picture particularly. I like the black and white treatment, and it suits me even though it's out of focus. I like this wildlife photography. People won't like this. I like it. I think it's got a nice feel to it. Noisy, blurred. I think it's still very effective. So always take the image and see what it's going to look like when you've got it. This is op art that's actually taken at the London Underground station. So think about things, practice things, think about your camera. We've now spent some time talking about your camera and what makes it work. Spend time fiddling with your camera, try all the controls and see what they do. And you will become far more comfortable with your camera. And you'll start to enjoy your photography more. So next Thursday, we're going to start a new session, which is capturing my vision. Because so far we've looked at photography, we've looked at how your camera works, and now the final section is we're going to be looking at capturing my vision, how you make the most of what we see. So we look forward to seeing you back then, and thanks very much indeed for joining us today. Take care. Cheers.